logic.
Okay.
And honestly, like after having played, and please don't spoil anything because I've only played through three. I stand by it because my logic is that Clementine at the time of this is 8. That's like a second grader, right? And
Mm-hmm.
she's already seen so much. Like at this point, it's like 45 minutes after seeing her parents having been turned into like monsters, right?
Yes.
Like I think that the idea of having to look her caretaker, her pseudo father in the eye and pull the trigger is too much to ask of a little girl. Like obviously, yeah, she doesn't want us to like become a monster, but like that is a lot to
I
put on a
think
fucking second grader.
the
And
counter
plus,
would be worse though. I'll let you
you
Yeah.
think
finish though.
so?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And plus, I think that like, and this is me like from a player standpoint, like not even a story standpoint, is that
Mm.
I know like as a player that there's 4 games and Clementine is in all of them, so she has to
Mm.
survive. And in my head, I'm thinking if there's 4 games, there's going to be more people that she loves and cares about besides Lee who are going to turn. And I think it's good for her development as a person and as a character to separate the zombie from the person that they were before dying. Because that's just like a good fucking lesson to learn in the zombie apocalypse, I think.
But I think it's also important to understand that like knowing mercy, right? Because I don't. I think it would do much worse to just let him be turned, right?
Yeah.
Um,
Cause
I mean,
and the reason I more so agree with like Zen too is because dependent, no matter like how you feel about like an afterlife type beat, like you, he's still out there, you know what I mean, as a zombie. So
Yeah.
there's a non-zero chance that she's gonna run into him again as a zombie and have to kill him anyway, you know.
I mean, he's also like handcuffed to that, or at least in my playthrough, like he's handcuffed to the radiator.
Yeah, but you can
So
still your hand can fall off and like
Yeah,
Yeah.
but-
Yeah.
yeah,
Hard
but
to
like-
gain.
I guess, but at that point, like she's leaving Georgia and everything, and like the chances are so little. And honestly, one of my gripes with the first game is like the fact that she even runs into her parents in the first place in a town as big as Savannah is insane. But whatever. But like, I don't know. To that, I would counter. What about mercy for Clementine? Right? Like, yeah, there's mercy for Lee, but like, I for me, prerogative number one through that game, and frankly, like the entire franchise, is like protect Clem. And
Mhm.
I feel like the act of having to kill Lee over any of the other people that she has to kill throughout the series is
Mm.
something that's more damaging than anyone else.
I
You know?
think that protecting Clementine also includes having her realize that the people that she loves can turn into a walker or a zombie.
and you're just
So,
gonna have to make the hard
yeah.
choice.
Yeah,
Knowing
and I
how
think
to
that that's
make
like part of it
Better
too.
to make it
is,
sooner
like,
than later.
knowing how to
Yeah.
make that hard choice and having experience making that hard choice makes it not easier on the down the road, but like you're more experienced with it and you know how to deal with it
I
a little bit
mean,
more.
I would argue both in the game and in real life, the choice to do nothing is still a choice. Like it's like the trolley problem. Like you can say I won't pull the lever, but the choice not to pull the lever is still a choice.
It's still a choice,
You know?
yeah.
Yeah.
It's just like and now more so than ever, and it just might be like bias from the situations that just happened in the game. But like I feel like you're gonna have to expose these kids to some like some of the
Yeah.
hard shit because you could be end up like Tara, bro.
Because I was like,
Like,
yeah. Because the first time I played The Walking Dead, it was like 2021, and I was like, bro, nah, it's protect Clem every day of the week. I'm not trying to have her do shit. She's just gonna be there and great, and she's my pride and joy, and it's all gonna be cool. It was never cool. I should have. I had to train her about what the fuck is gonna happen, and I think that
They end up
also
like
includes.
Sarah.
Yeah, it ended up like
Well-
Sarah, where Sarah just pulled a gun on me and aimed it at me with the finger on the trigger.
and
My-
that's kind of like a result of her having been like
Having no
protected from all the
training,
bad
yeah.
shit. Yeah.
I
You
mean,
know.
I think that there's like a middle ground, right? And that's also like another thing I had with the first game is that like And not to be on my soapbox, but I got really mad at this when I was playing, and I like had to stop and call Kurt about it. Is that,
Uh,
like, me personally, I feel like as a white man, you should not tell me how to cut my black daughter's hair, and I feel like one
yeah.
of the things in design and in writing should have been, and I understand that this was like 10 years ago, so this was not like in conversation or anything, should have been like protective styles. Because that would have been A, something that's more realistic for black women in particular, and B, something that like is both something that protects you and also something that is part of culture, something that is still like a link to humanity.
Yeah,
Besides like chopping it off.
I
I
don't
feel like that's
think.
like metaphorical for like having to chop off like humanity and enjoyment of
Yeah,
stuff.
I don't think
You
we
know?
should have like had to cut it, but like I feel like there should have been more options about that. But I was like, yeah, at the same time, you got grabbed by the
Yeah.
hair.
Yeah, this is like the
Yeah,
best
I
that we
just
got with what we have
Yeah.
in the
yeah,
moment.
I
It's
feel
like
this series in general is not good at exploring like the middle grounds, and to me personally, the act of not having child Clementine shoot Lee is the closest I can get to a middle ground.
even even if they had a middle ground, I feel like I still would have chose Clementine to shoot Lee.
Yeah. Because
I
I don't
mean,
know. I feel like there's more of like an emotional attachment to be like, hey, like this. At least I'm letting him go out as like
Yeah.
a human instead of
And
potentially wander around suffering for the rest
as
of
he
until
would
he
have
gets
wanted
killed,
as well.
You know?
And I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure he
Well,
wouldn't have wanted to be turned into a walker too.
Yeah.
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 that like feeds into part of my issue with like this game as well, and you notice it like much more towards the end of season 2, is that like the things that they're asking this child to do, this
It's
fifth grader
nuts.
to do,
Yeah,
like,
it is
It is
insane.
insurmountable.
It is
insane.
And
It's
so
nuts almost
feel
every
like-
fucking time.
I feel like me as an adult, and like Lee is like 40 or so at this point, like asking an 8-year-old, no matter how much you prepare her to be, no matter how much you talk to her, like no matter how much you want her to be ready for an apocalypse,
Mm.
asking an 8-year-old to look her dad in the eyes and kill them is too much. You know?
Yeah. Like I do wish that there was a middle ground, that there's a different way, but I think ultimately it's a part of like what they wished for.
Yeah.
Also, I think you listen.
Heartbeat.
Like, okay, listen. I'm so inebriated.
I just fucking saw it. God damn it, Nick.
I'm so
Birthday,
inebriated,
nicest
and
choices
you
in
guys-
a video game.
And you guys nailed me like right on this one hyperfixation I've had for the last 2 weeks, and you got me started. And I'm sorry.
Don't
I'm
blame
sorry. I
you.
didn't mean to get started.
You know, it's all right.
It is what it is.
Nah, I think because we've been dissecting the choices the whole fucking time. We're like, bro,
we paused at least 4 times before.
Yeah,
now,
absolutely.
so what do
we
you-
paused
what do
at
you-
least 3 times on Sarah having a gun alone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bro,
There was
look
a
at
whole
this cool
laughing
thing I
fit because
Like,
of the
brother.
phone indicators.
like. Come on.
Jesus Christ.
The